If you want some, hurry up and
come and get some!
Because the last time is now!
John Cena is headlining the final WrestleMania of his storied career, where he's all set to take on the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes and challenge for the undisputed WWE World Championship and potentially become the first ever, in kayfabe, 17-time world champion in wrestling history. The stakes couldn't be higher. History could be made. And the fact that a now villainous Cena, who is the most despised man, who was once the most beloved man in professional wrestling, makes it very interesting. There's a lot of twists, there's a lot of turns, and WWE has two choices to make. To give Cena the accolade that will make him the undisputed GOAT in the wrestling industry, but under some very odd circumstances people didn't expect, or have the face of WWE continue to reign and hold down the house and the pinnacle of a breakout period in pro wrestling. What do you think's going to happen? We're here to argue in favor of one Mr. Evil John Cena and tell you why he needs to beat Cody at WrestleMania 41. So let's begin. This is Sportskeeda Wrestling. I'm Kevin Kellum. Who do you got at WrestleMania? How do you see this thing going? The comments are below. You're watching this whole video. We think you're going to be with us. Get down there. Ticky-tappy. Let's hear ya. Hit the like button. Turn those notifications on so you know when we drop videos just like this. The jury is still out on how Cena's heel turn to the dark side is playing out. It is certainly moving the needle and getting people talking ahead of WrestleMania, and it's certainly the most talked about WrestleMania storyline this year. As of this video, we're only a month into his run as a villain, and we've only seen him twice, just cutting promos. It's also a John Cena who has to balance a movie star career outside of WWE, so that's a challenge as well. And during this time, there was a lot left, maybe to be desired. That's always the idea with some level of building to a big match, the leave you wanting more element for the big payoff. Rather than mentioning The Rock, who he's clearly aligned with, let alone rapper Travis Scott, who was a part of the big heel turn in Elimination Chamber, a now heelish John Cena has been beefing with the WWE fans, talking about how they betrayed him over the years. The classic, it's you're the problem. But with John Cena and his generational relationship with millions of fans, it does make sense. Yeah, it may be hard to process, but it makes sense. Over on our other YouTube channel, WrestleBinge, industry insiders Bill Apter and WrestleVotes praised Cena's recent heel promos in Europe on WWE television that really played into the generational relationship he's had with so many fans. It's really about building that as emotional gasoline to get in the tank for Cody and Cena and not cook this thing up and have it overboil before we get to Las Vegas. Cena's first crack of the mic in Brussels as a villain was another example of the former champion truly embracing a level of heel heat. He was despised. Some of you thinking this heel turn may not work, you're not listening to that crowd in Europe. He played into some of the insider talk, addressing fans wanting him to have a new theme song and a new look, but you don't get what you want. I'm John Cena, I get what I want. But the weird part is how he backed down from Cody Rhodes 2 weeks in a row. It's weird. John Cena backs down from a fight? Well, yeah, we have to process the reality. He's the bad guy in this story. Bad guys run from straight-on fights. It may feel simplistic, go off on the fans, run away from a fight, this is heel 101. But this is not babyface John Cena. This is not that Cena, no matter how much you want it to be that. He is the bad guy. He's gonna play that role and play on that psychology. It adds substance to the feud when you consider that Cody Rhodes, the valiant fighting champion, is going to be building the feud in April mostly by himself on television. It's a bit odd, to say the least, but also remember that Cena and Cody getting physical this far out from WrestleMania maybe could spoil the payoff of Mania. It's still the big marquee match, and you want to save most of that violence for when it counts in Vegas. If Cena is playing into the selfish, hubris, drunk on his own ego heel stuff, he doesn't need to commit to WWE week in and week out. He truly gets to be Hollywood Cena and get his big title match too at WrestleMania. It makes sense. Hollywood Cena is about his business, not the business that made him. Are you angry with all of this? Well, that's the point. Villains are supposed to get you mad, and then you want to see the villain get beat up. With all that said, WWE has something special. As every WrestleMania is special in itself, this one has John Cena being able to win number 17. The kayfabe record of having the most world championships to one single wrestler could be his defining element, and he can do it now as a villain in his final WrestleMania. This is the declared mission for Cena before the heel turn even happened at Elimination Chamber. Fans want to see some element of this, and this storyline point is, as we record this, not being played up to the greatest degree, but it will be. John Cena himself taking disses at the man who has the Sweet 16 record, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Wonder if he's going to play into this entire storyline at some point. Cena winning his 17th world title, breaking the record, and doing it at Mania in his final year of in-ring competition is history in the making. It's history on the paper that we just laid out right there. We declare it's history that should be made. When looking at Cody Rhodes' perspective here, it probably makes sense that some WWE higher-ups and millions of fans who are very loyal to him want to see him continue to run at the top and not give it to a part-time player in John Cena. John Cena doesn't need this title. It gives Cody Rhodes the biggest win of his career after WrestleMania 40 if he can do it. But is Cody going to be hurt anyway if he loses? When you really think at the big picture for the long-term story, not really. He's having a completely awesome full year. Undisputed WWE champion by the time WrestleMania 41 comes around for a full year. It puts him in position of being a chaser again, a role he has proven he can pull off, especially when he pursued Roman Reigns and finished a story at WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. Acknowledge that Cody beat Roman, everybody. That was a big moment. By a lot of metrics, Cody Rhodes' reign as WWE Champion has been a tremendous success. That doesn't mean it couldn't have been maybe better or more interesting. He's gotten unanimous crowd approval. Several parts of the fan base still want to say no. So you have that mixture of fan element and interest in what he does. But WWE doesn't have to wait until people get tired to change things up completely. Historically speaking, good guys have always been hotter in the chase, rather than maybe when they reach the mountaintop. And that's just true. It gives Cody Rhodes the type of fire that he maybe needs a little bit more of. He can continue to face obstacles, and it gives John Cena something that plays into the element of what he's doing now. Being a bad guy that everyone pursues, and a bad guy who doesn't need to be there all the time, who has a prize you want to pursue, the WWE Championship. If John Cena wins the WWE title from Cody, it's hard to see anybody else apart from Cody taking it back from him. In the old proverbial wrestling crystal ball that has John Cena winning the title in a tragic bad guy over good guy scenario in Las Vegas, Cody Rhodes pursues him to get the title back at SummerSlam. A 2-day SummerSlam that has a lot more expectations on it this year. And it can finally kickstart a story for Cody Rhodes crossing paths with the final boss, The Rock, eventually culminating in WrestleMania 42, while also serving as a way to get Cena back as a good guy before his career ends at the end of the calendar year of 2025. Another reason beyond that, maybe the biggest one why John Cena should win the WWE Championship, is the fact that it opens the door for some really interesting post-Mania matchups. The build-up to WrestleMania 41 has been an interesting one for some players, but not all. John Cena with the title changes a lot of that. WrestleMania 39 and 40 were blockbusters, both in terms of build-up and the show themselves. This year, it depends on which storyline you're talking about. While the crowds are still going to cheer Cody Rhodes if he's the WWE Champion post-WrestleMania, it still leaves a big question: how have his title defenses continued to be exciting? It's quite likely that WWE just throws in some main event stars for Cody to overcome, and that's when you start to have a cool-off period. WWE does not intend to cool off, especially with the way their business is going post-Netflix and all that stuff. The post-WrestleMania period is likely to start a new season, and you want to make things exciting. You do not want that post-WrestleMania buzz to wear off. Imagine a heel John Cena getting confronted by a babyface foe that used to be a villain in Randy Orton on Raw or SmackDown after WrestleMania 41. WWE's next PLE after WrestleMania is Backlash. It takes place in St. Louis, Randy Orton's hometown. An easy sellout is Cena versus Orton with the roles reversed. The crowd would go berserk having a villainous John Cena versus a good guy Randy Orton. Just think about that. The last ever clash between these two of a defining era, now having just one more dance for the big prize. And imagine if Money in the Bank 2025 is where we get to see John Cena versus CM Punk again. Yes, let's play that hit back. Cena is on his farewell tour. Doing it as a villain is a completely different way of doing it, and certainly playing on these past matchups and past rivals would be an interesting one. A story chapter to close for Cena, standing tall after cheating to beat CM Punk and proving everything he said right all those years ago. I believe the kids call this cinema. Yeah, some of you just learned what that word is. Whether it's at SummerSlam or any other premium live event, John Cena, as the WWE Champion in this scenario after WrestleMania, seems to have a fresh and filled with potential perspective. We know that Triple H and his creative team are quite safe, even maybe conservative, in how they handle World Championship reigns. But this is a way to maybe restart, jumpstart some interesting matchups. New champions create new matchups, new excitement, something fresh, something different, especially with WWE building to big premium live events and their weekly television having to maybe play up another world title that they have. It's hard to maintain this kind of momentum that WWE has had over the last 2 years, but having John Cena as a champion after WrestleMania would also ensure that tickets keep going up for big events. Realistically speaking, it's hard to see anybody touching the 17-time World Championship record for a long time. We would go as far to say it could be decades before we even get to a 18-time world champion. So let's make history now while you still have John Cena. In all likelihood, perhaps it's something that will never be repeated, and that's exactly maybe the way it should be. It's also exactly why John Cena should win at WrestleMania 41, because there's a chance he could do something that will never be done again. Even though we've been critical of the first few appearances of John Cena here and there, and people are booing it, and that's the idea, there's still a chance things could change. Cena has a mind for this business that is at another level. He declared, "You are making this easy," as he puppeteered the crowd with his words in Brussels, and they embraced booing him. Now corrupted by his own bitter mission to ruin wrestling for the fans who made him who he is, and retire as WWE Champion, taking the title with him. It will be the world versus John Cena, and maybe, as one of his former foes, Bray Wyatt, once said, he's got the whole world in his hands, and you can't see it. Let us know what you think. Is it John Cena or Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 41? Get in the comments and sound off. Also, check out our video about the insane psychology of John Cena's heel turn. As always, thank you for watching.
John Cena sucks. John Cena sucks.